It's Makarios Night Live with Chris Buster, Scott Denton, featuring Amber Moore, and your host, Jared Kitchen. Ladies and gentlemen, your host, Jared Kitchen.
Did you get your coffee?
I got my coffee, yeah.
Who's in charge of this?
The Makarios producers.
Do they recognize it's morning?
Yeah, Makarios Night Live, and it's morning. Interesting.
Hey, thanks for joining us in the morning on a Makarios Night Live broadcast. However,
You could be watching this at nighttime.
maybe
Some people might watch it at nighttime, so it might make sense for a few people.
that'll be good.
But anyways, thanks for joining us, guys. Appreciate you taking the time out to be with us, to watch this. We have some pretty cool stuff to share with you guys about sponsorship and Makarios and what's happening in the DR right now.
It's going to be good because we're going to hear from a lot of people.
Oh yeah,
We're going to hear from sponsors. We're going to hear from Scott Denton, who's our in-country director down in the DR. We're going to hear from Kakito Batista, which we'll talk about in just a minute. We're going to hear from sponsor kids down in the DR who are actually receiving what you guys are participating in. And we're going to hear from sponsorship programs through Amber. This could be a great day.
that's what I'm talking about. Hey, check it out. I don't know if we want to go much further without them understanding a little bit about Dominican culture and things like that. So I
Elaborate
think
just a
they
little
need
bit.
to learn some Dominicanisms.
Some what?
Dominicanisms.
That's not even a word.
Okay, it's Spanish that's spoken only in the DR. Certain phrases that you're probably only going to hear them in the DR. So I'm not really the best to teach those, but
Who is?
Kakito Batista.
Kakito Batista.
Yes. If you
So,
don't, let's explain who Kakito is real quick.
So Kakito, for those of you who are watching now and have never been to the DR, Kakito is, he came out of Makarios school. It's an amazing story. It's beautiful, really. So he started as a young kid, graduated from Makarios school, had so many people pour into his life, just like sponsors like you, pour into his life, love on him, sponsor him through the programs. And now he's here stateside in Houston, by the way, in Houston, going to seminary with the sole purpose of getting educated to take the gospel back to the DR to build the church and to build the people to share the love of Jesus. Right?
Yeah.
Kakito.
That's the Kakito we're talking about. So I think it'd be great. Let's hear from him from Houston, Texas, teaching us a little bit about Dominicanism.
I want to learn some Dominicanism.
You need to learn some, Jared.
Hey y'all, my name is Francis. You may know me as Kakito. Today I'm here to teach you 3 Dominicanisms. Number 1, let's go with que lo que, which means what's up. So if you go to the Dominican Republic and you are hanging out and you see a bunch of people, you can go que lo que, and they are going to know what you're talking about. Number 2, un chin, which means a little bit. Like for example, you are hanging out and you go like, give me un chin, like give me a little bit. Number 3, fulano, which means what's his face or what's her face. That's like when you're like wandering around and you go fulano. So 3 Dominicanism for you to be ready and come join us. We love, empower, and educate, and we do this through Makarios. So thank you and God bless you.
Got it.
All right, Chris, let's take a second.
Yeah.
We've heard Kakito give us some Dominicanisms. I would challenge you guys to remember those.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Un chin.
Un chin. Why don't you take videos of you Dominicanisming yourself.
Yep. On video.
And share it with us.
That'd be great. I'd love to hear more Dominicanisms that you might have for us.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Do it. It'll be fun. And you'll look weird at the same time. But it'll be great. So, Chris, give us an update.
Okay, so just to give you an update on COVID and how it's affected us in the DR and really our organization as a whole, I'll kind of touch on all three of our main programs and kind of how this is affecting us. But essentially when kind of the country and went on lockdown in the DR, our school was shut down. They're on a similar time frame as the U.S. when that happened, but our kids aren't in school. They haven't been in school, and a big part of our concern in all of this was our kids aren't getting fed breakfast and lunch every day as they were during the school year. They're not being educated in person by their teachers. So we're trying to figure out creative ways to continue to have impact on the kids educationally, but we are providing food for the families and the students. We've had about 3 rounds of food distribution right now, and you'll get to hear from Scott a little bit more about what that looks like on the ground there. Our family empowerment program, our staff are still trying to figure out creative ways to be in contact with families to kind of check in on them. But one of the biggest issues that this has posed for us is we had over 300 plus group members that were coming down on trips this summer to the DR, and as you know, the country's been shut down, travel's been shut down, and hopefully it's going to open up. But what it's done is a lot of almost every one of our teams is canceled with the exception of a few. But that's really had a negative impact on our revenue. But we use those teams to really help impact and have impact in the churches and in the families that we work with. And so anyways, we're working through that. But yeah, so that's kind of a brief update on some of the impacts that COVID's had on us. But yeah,
well, I think too, when the teams aren't able to be there, we have to rethink our strategy, because the teams are the ones that are coming in and providing all the programs that we do through the summer.
Yeah. Right.
So Vacation Bible School, the camps, the different camps, the different projects that we try to accomplish during the summer. So how are we as an organization shifting to kind of still accomplishing those goals while not being able to have those teams come in?
Yeah, for sure. Great question. So really what this has allowed us to do is say, hey, let's focus on local volunteer involvement and local interns and local staff to accomplish ministry on the ground there. So when we're looking at sports camps now and doing things like that, we're really saying let's rally the troops that are in the local church and in the local community and say, how can we get this done? How can we still have an impact on families and children with the people that we have and the staff that we have there on the ground? So it'll look a little bit different, but it's really kind of gives us this ability to hone in and focus on the people that we have on the ground.
That's beautiful. So the goal being that we're not stopping.
No, definitely not.
In fact, if anything, we're getting innovative and trying to accomplish more through the process. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Hey, so Scott is on the ground.
Yeah, he's our in-country director. He's day-to-day with our staff there, kind of managing this crisis on the ground.
And Scott used to be a trip goer.
Yeah.
Long time ago, right? He went on several trips and slowly just felt the Lord tug at his heart and say, hey, get to the DR and be with Makarios.
Yeah.
Basically, right? Short story. So Scott's on the ground right now leading Makarios as our in-country director. And what's beautiful, we're going to hear from Scott in just a quick second. And Scott's going to share with us from his perspective what's happening, what we're seeing, the things that are actually taking place in the DR right now, not just related to our kids, but also the impact that's being had around the communities.
Yeah.
So Scott, why don't you give us some good news here?
Hey, my name is Scott. I'm here in the Dominican Republic at the Makarios School. In fact, right inside our school cafeteria. Things here are very much like they are around the world. We are under a quarantine of sorts. In fact, here we have a curfew every day from 5 p.m. to 6 a.m. where the government has asked us to stay in the house. Most businesses are closed. We're still able to go to the grocery store as we need to and get gas for the car, pharmacies are open and hospitals, of course, but as is the case in the United States and many other places, things are shut down. People are spending a lot more time at home than normal. Here's how that affects what's going on with us here at Makarios. I'm in the cafeteria because this is the hub of what goes on in Makarios. Think about it, in your home, one of the busiest rooms, one of the rooms where it's so important to daily life is your kitchen or your dining room. This is the dining room for our Makarios kids. This is where they spend time during the day with us. And as you'll notice, in the middle of the week, it's empty. Why does that matter? Why is that impactful? Because our students rely on Makarios many, many times to get the food that they need. Your sponsorship, our program of sponsors from all over the world, helps provide the resources we need to be able to feed kids here 2 meals a day. They get breakfast and they get lunch. And for many of them, it's the only 2 meals they have in a normal day. That's why this coronavirus thing has had such an impact here, is because we have had to come up with creative ways to make sure our families still get what they need. Most of our parents, if they have employment, are day laborers. They're working as they can find work. And so when things shut down, when construction projects, when businesses close, there's less opportunities. And what that means, think about it in your own life. What that means is if you didn't have an income, how could you provide for your family? So we've realized the need. We stepped up our staff in so many incredible ways, have come together to provide food for our Makarios families. We've gathered items that we've been able to purchase because of your sponsorship, because of those who give monthly and support the work of Makarios. We've been able to pack bags of food for all of our families and deliver those to our communities. We've also been involved with some other churches and some other feeding projects. We're looking for partnerships here in the country to be able to help provide continual food for our families. But that's such a great need, and it's something that we normally would be taking care of right here. And in the meantime, our staff has done a great job of stepping up to help provide for that. Our teachers at a school also have done an incredible job of making sure our students still have the resources and the information they need to continue to grow and be educated. We don't have the luxury here of the same high-speed internet that's in every home and everybody has a computer to do virtual learning. We're actually doing it the old-fashioned way with pen and paper. And so we have sent home packets with our students. Our teachers have been reaching out. Our family empowerment staff has been making calls to our families to see how they're doing. What are their real needs? And are the kids being able to complete the assignments effectively? So what we want to continue to do as best we can is to love, educate, and empower. And we're doing that not just with our feeding program, but by our teachers staying in touch with their students. We pray, like you are, that this will end sooner than later and life can get back to normal. Whatever the new normal is going to be, we don't know. But we certainly can't wait until this room is filled with over 200 Makarios students every day, eating their meals, being educated in an amazing school with an amazing staff, as we try to grow these kids and empower them to be leaders in their communities. Thank you for your support of our work here. Know that every dollar you give is gonna make a difference and impact the lives of children here in the Dominican Republic. I want to say thank you to you. Thank you to our amazing staff here who've done an incredible job of filling the gap during this difficult time, but especially to you. And if you're watching this and you've never jumped into a program like this, I want to encourage you to consider giving, because your donations, your generosity will have an immediate and direct impact on the lives of all the little kids you can imagine who are sitting right in this cafeteria one day. Thank you, and God bless you.
So, Scott, thank you for the update. Scott, the work that you and the team are doing down there is amazing. You know, Kakito shared with us last week, I think it's a pretty interesting story. So the distribution of food is going to the families of the kids that are sponsored in our program. And we're going to talk about sponsorship in just a second. But sponsorship is the way that these kids have the ability to receive 2 meals a day. Yeah. So that same food that we would be giving them at school during this time, we're actually taking that food and giving it to their families through the food distribution, like you guys saw with Scott. And Kakito was sharing with us that those families of the students are receiving that food and then going to their neighbors in the community and sharing that food with their neighbors. Yeah. It's an amazing story, and you guys have an opportunity to be a part of that. Sponsorship is what allows that to happen, right? Sponsorship is what allows that child in our school system to receive that education, to receive that food, and so many other things. Amber on the ground.
Yeah, she's our director of sponsorship. So yeah,
director of sponsorships on the ground in the DR. Amber is going to give us a quick rundown of what sponsorship is. Following Amber in this next clip, we're going to get to hear from families that have chosen to sponsor a child, what that's done for them in their life and the experience that they've had as a sponsor. But we're also going to get to see the impact that that's made on the actual sponsored child at the same time. Yeah, it's going to be beautiful.
Yeah. I think as you watch these videos, just, maybe try to put yourself in their shoes, because sponsorship has an impact in two different ways. One, it's on the child because it provides them opportunity. But the other side of that is you can have a relationship with the child in a way that is impactful for you as well. So yeah, keep that in mind as you watch these videos. But you'll get to see some from students themselves and from families that are sponsoring. So.
That's awesome. Amber, we're glad that you're down there doing the work that you're doing. We wish we could be with you this summer to be a part. But why don't you give us a quick rundown of what sponsorship looks like in the DR and how that impacts the kids' lives that we partner with. Yeah. Amber?
Hola a todos. My name is Amber and I'm the sponsorship director here at Makarios. And in just a moment, you'll get to hear from some of our very own sponsors and a student about the impact that Makarios and the sponsorship program has had on their lives. Before we get there, I want to share a little bit about our program. It is our vision that through a quality education, our students would have more opportunity and be able to break out of the cycle of poverty. More than that, it is our hope that our students, their families, and the communities that they live in would come to know the love of Christ and that their lives would be transformed. It's a big vision, we know, but we believe that with God, anything is possible. And so we invite sponsors to be a part of this vision with us. Sponsorship covers the cost of a student's education. This includes everything from school supplies, school uniforms, basic medical care, 2 meals a day, transportation for the kids that need it, as well as building, maintenance, and operation costs. Sponsorship is the way that our school is funded. My favorite part about sponsorship is the meaningful relationship that sponsors get to build with students. We encourage all of our sponsors to be praying for the students, write encouraging letters, and if they're able to, even come and visit and meet the family. It is so impactful for students to realize that they have a sponsor in another country that not only cares about them, believes in them, and is cheering them on. I'd like to invite you today to consider being a part of a student's story and join us in our mission to love, educate, and empower. Thank you for joining us and enjoy the following videos.
Hi, my name is Mariel Allen and I want to talk to you about sponsorship and sponsorship through Makarios and what it means to me. I currently sponsor a little girl named Leah and she's in pre-K4 at Makarios. I've sponsored her for almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years this July. And sponsoring her has just been such a blessing in my life. I had the opportunity to travel to the DR with a group 2 summers ago, and this was my first time going to the DR. Going into the trip, I knew that I wanted to sponsor a little boy, and I actually had the opportunity to meet a little boy who I had a great bond with at VBS in Ponte Mateo, and I went to go sponsor him, and it turned out he already had a sponsor, which was great for him, but it was a little sad for me. And that night I was just praying about it because I really wanted to make sure that I was sponsoring the kid that God had called me to sponsor. And I felt like God was telling me that he wanted me to sponsor a little girl. And so the next morning in the Mac house, there is a little setup of sponsorship info along with pamphlet of kids that are available for sponsorship. So I was looking through the pictures of the kids, and as soon as I saw Leah's face, I immediately knew that she was the kid that I was meant to sponsor, and I had the opportunity to meet her that trip, and we just had this amazing instant bond. Her mother handed her to me, and she just didn't want to let me go, and it was such a sweet moment. And I had the opportunity last summer when I returned to the DR to meet her family and get to be with them and pray with them, and it was just such a blessing. She's just such a great kid, and it's been such an amazing blessing in my life to get to have an impact in hers and to get to meet her and talk to her and pray with her family. I know that sponsorship can be a financial commitment and it requires a lot of sacrifices for some. It definitely has for me, but I know that it was 100% worth it. Just getting to see the benefits that Leah has from getting a better education, and to get to have breakfast and lunch every day, and to have a doctor that she can see, and to get to see a dentist and amazing things like that. And I'm just so blessed to have had the opportunity to sponsor her, and it means so much to me, and I know that it would mean so much to you as well.
Hi, we're the Fauner family. It's been our pleasure for the last couple years to sponsor several children through Makarios, and it's been a very positive experience. We had the opportunity last summer to actually go and visit the Dominican Republic and meet our sponsored kids, and it was amazing. It was amazing not only to have the personal connection that our children get to see someone else that's like them, even though they speak a different language, they're in a different country, different culture. They see someone who's like them. It's amazing how much they have in common.
We love being sponsors with Makarios. Our 3 kids in the DR, Juan Carlos, Blynercy, and Julissa, have been such a blessing to us. Each of our kids that we sponsor is the same age as our kids right here on the couch with us, and same gender as well. So Carson and Juan Carlos are buddies, and Sydney and Blynercy are friends, and Audrey and Julissa are friends, and we loved getting to visit them this past fall in Makarios, and it was just a really sweet time to see the kids connect in meaningful ways that cross language barriers and cultural barriers, and just they had so much in common. And so now we get to be pen pals with them, and their photos are on our fridge, and we pray for them regularly. So it's been a real blessing, really both ways. It's not just a one-way deal. So Makarios is a wonderful organization. They really just maximize the funds that are donated to them. We were amazed at the difference that they were making, not only in the kids' lives, but in the kids' families' lives as well, and in the communities. So the school was amazing, and just seeing the impact on the kids and how much virtue and faith they were instilling in these kids was really great. So we're honored to be a part of it.
It's also it was really cool to see the way that Makarios not only cares for the students that are in their care to school them, but also the families of those students. So we got to see firsthand just the joy on their campus. We got to see a little glimpse of what life is like in the surrounding neighborhoods, and we're just really grateful that Makarios is a presence in the Dominican Republic.
Hola, mi nombre es Juan Carlos, estoy en 5º grado. En mi tiempo libre me gusta cazar pajaritos.
¿Cuál es la parte favorita tuya, Macario?
El campo de juego.
¿Cómo fue tu experiencia de conocer a tus patrocinadores y qué hicieron?
Ellos me amaron mucho, ellos comimos juntos y nos divertimos, jugamos.
¿Cómo Macario y tus profesores han impactado tu vida?
Ellos me aman mucho, me dan amor y han tenido paciencia conmigo. Gracias.
Get over here, Jared.
I had to refill my coffee.
Good deal.
Makarios morning and night live, right? Morning and night. Hey, you guys, first of all, such an amazing group of people that we were just able to watch. The Fauner family, Marielle, Juan Carlos, Amber giving us the rundown of how sponsorships work. Guys, I want to let you know just a little something here. God is doing an amazing work in the DR.
Yeah.
He's doing an amazing work really all over the world right now. And we see that specifically through this crisis that we're engaged with, where it's like he's calling people back to him and calling focus and attention back to him. But specifically, he's equipped us and given us the tools and the resources and the vision and the mission to go accomplish the work of loving these people well within the Dominican. And there's not, it doesn't stop just because those kids aren't fully sponsored.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No matter what, I mean, we're committed to the kids at our school right now. And honestly, we have plans to grow and to reach more kids. And so regardless, we're committed to the kids that are in our program right now, but there's still a need. We have 130 shares. Honestly. 130
shares. So we walk faithfully forward every day, trusting that God will provide. And you guys have an opportunity to be a part of that mission, right? Yeah. You guys have an opportunity to walk along beside us, to partner with us, to love these kids well, and to help execute the mission that God has called us to, right? Guys, we have 3 videos that we're going to share with you right now. These are 3 little kids that are in our program. We love them well. We educate them daily. We walk faithfully forward, trusting that God is going to continue to do his work through us so that we can continue to do our work and share his love with them. Yeah. So these kiddos do not have full sponsors.
No, the kids in these videos need sponsors now. So if you see some of these videos and you want to sponsor one of these kids, you have that opportunity to do that.
And more.
Yeah.
And more. Because we have 130 shares we need to fill. So let's watch these 3 videos real quick. These kids are going to speak into your hearts, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's go.
Hola, mi nombre es Ariadne. Me gusta pasar tiempo con mi profe Bielka, estar con mis compañeros y jugar con mis compañeros. Mi materia favorita es español.
Hola, mi nombre es Riley, estoy en cuarto grado. A mí me gusta de Macario el tiempo libre que nos dan, cómo nos enseña. Mis 2 materias favoritas de Macario son matemáticas y lengua española. Extraño mucho a los profesores. Los quiero.
Did you get me some?
No, I just had to get some coffee. Cheers.
All right, guys, what an amazing opportunity that presents itself for us today. Yeah. These kids, you know, the most beautiful thing about watching these 3 videos, every one of them love their teacher.
Yeah.
Every one of them want to go be with their teacher again. Yeah. That just shows the commitment that these teachers have towards imparting into these kids' lives and what value they hold from that to grow over time. Guys, we've got 130 shares that are available. 130 shares. Now, as Amber explained previously in the video, those shares, it takes 3 shares to fill a sponsorship for 1 child. And as of right now, we don't have any one child that needs all 3 shares, but we do have 130 shares available. So several children that do need sponsored to get the full 3 shares. Now that could be an opportunity for you guys to partner with us in a way of maybe it's taking 1 share for 2 different kids, or 1 share for 4 different kids, or however many kids you feel led to do that with. Or maybe it's fulfilling all the open shares for a child. Chris, let's just reiterate when somebody chooses to sponsor one of these kids, our goal is to connect the two. You did a good job of explaining that kind of at the beginning. Our goal is to really bring that sponsor closer with their sponsor child.
Yeah.
Not just to make a connection for the sake of gaining a donation, but to allow that partner to impart truth, to impart love, be a part of the empowerment process of that kid's life. And the value that has on that child is huge. And the ripple effects go for generations. Yeah, they change lives.
Yeah, I think that's important to remember. Becoming a sponsor is not something that just happens on a monthly basis, and then when you're done sponsoring, the impact goes away. This is something that when you sponsor a child, that what you're doing is you're having impact for generations to come. So by educating them at the Makarios School and investing in their families, these kids' lives are being changed, for generations to come. So it's a very impactful way of being a part of empowering a child for the rest of his life.
Well, and I'm reminded of Kakito's story. I'm reminded of somebody chose to sponsor Kakito, to invest in his life, to pour into him in ways that God laid on their heart to pour into him. Yeah. And now he's going to go back, and not only is his family changed from that point forward, he's going to go back now and start making an impact for God's kingdom. And that's really what all this is for, is loving these kids, educating them, empowering them to know Jesus, to follow him, and to make an impact in the world around them. Yeah. Right?
That's true. Yeah.
130 shares. I would challenge you guys, go to macdr.org and you'll see a button right there at the home screen. Yeah. Right there, the very first thing, become a sponsor. macdr.org. Go to the button, click the button. You'll see all the kids and the shares that we have available for sponsorship with those kids. Yeah. Guys, we need your help now more than ever. Yeah. There's so much happening in the DR because of the current situation that we're in. There's so much that we have the opportunity to do. There's so much that we have the opportunity to invest in and be a part of that go beyond just our kids in the Makarios School, that actually impact the communities around the school as well. So I challenge you, macdr.org, and you'll see the button, become a sponsor.
Yeah. So,
coffee at the night live event.
Yes.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Hey, mate, you can rewatch it at nighttime if you want.
Do it. It'll be better. It'll be better. You let it sink in for a little bit, and then it'll all make sense later.
Yeah. So,
guys, thanks for joining us. We appreciate all the time that you guys have devoted to watching. Go to macdr.org, and you'll see a button there, become a sponsor. Learn more about the mission of Makarios. Get engaged. Be a part of what God is doing down in the Dominican Republic. We love you guys. We thank you for your generosity. We thank you for your support. And we ask for prayer as we continue the mission that we're on. We ask for prayer from each one of you. So please keep us in your prayers as we continue to work.
Yeah, and thanks for your generosity, guys. We can't do this without you. And so, we appreciate all you do for us.
Awesome. We'll see you guys next time.
Adios.